Every time I see people on the left advocate for massive refugees into Europe or try to defend Islam, for example, they bring up the concept of human rights. They talk about offering asylum is a human right. They talk about the fact that freedom of religion is a human right. And they constantly, fall back on these human rights issues, which I completely agree. I think that good nations uphold human rights. And the reason I say this is that I look at the world and I see how people vote with their feet. People go towards nations that have human rights and respect human rights. People don't immigrate into North Korea and they don't immigrate into the territories controlled by ISIS. They try to run away from those places. So yeah, all in all, like human rights do, my opinion, make for places that people want to be in. But with that said, it's also the left that doesn't really respect human rights. When it comes about free speech, which is a human right, they're like, "Oh, I'm all for free speech," but. When it comes for freedom of expression, oh, I'm all for free expression, but MAGA hat, but evil, but. And it's funny because they will use the same thing in order to complain that France bans the burqa in public places. Like, oh, but human rights, but human rights. And then it's like, oh, MAGA had bad, right? We're talking about the ideologues, right? Not the lawmakers. They're usually like the people on the left that are bloggers, that share opinions online, right? And lately, in video gaming culture, I see the right of freedom of association being under attack. Now, again, you need to understand that these rights, they're not pieces of paper. They are concepts, they're values that people should uphold if you want to have a good society. Like, people should believe that, yeah, other people can associate with whomever they want. And you see that in the video gaming world, when, for example, Ninja said that he doesn't want to play with girls because he's a married man, and he wants the press not to start speculating and making rumors about the women he plays with, and he wants to be loyal to his wife. There was like a major controversy. It was like a major uproar. Like people were complaining and stuff like that. And it was like, why? It's his right. Like we're not talking about a business, right? Like, we're not talking about a business that would exclude certain people. Like it's not even about that. No, it's basically like people who just want to play and associate it in their entertainment, right? Like this is what they do in their free time, and they, for whatever reason, they say, like I want to have a girls only Dungeons and Dragons group, and this happens a lot. Like if you go on Roll20, you will see plenty of groups where it's just girls only, and no one complains. Like I don't mind. Like in fact, I think that's a good thing. Like people can and should play with whomever they want. Again, like this is entertainment. This is what people do in their free time. Now, you can even point out to the girls' night out. Why is it girls' night out? It's because only the girls are going out. It is a normal social behavior that some activities, especially hobbies, you get to do with the people you want. But with that said, we recently noticed that in Overwatch, which is incredibly progressive, I should say, a guy got banned for not wanting to play with girls. And it's like, again, like, what? Like, why would he have to? Like, see, on one hand, like, you get the press complaining constantly about toxic masculinity and about how men should make it better. Like, well, he removed himself from the equation. Not only that, he's gathering other toxic males to play with him. Like they're not going to bother any women. How can you harass if you're not on the servers with her to harass? How this is going to get the bully hunters out of a business if they keep it up, right? And the reason I'm presenting this, right, because out of all the news, I picked this one, is that I notice it time and time again. Like it was the case with Roll20, where a woman was complaining because people didn't want to play with her, and now we notice it in Overwatch, and there's plenty of other examples where people can't associate with whomever they want. I personally don't want to play games with people from outside of Europe. I don't want to play with Americans, I don't want to play with Canadians, I don't want to play with Japanese because of lag. Okay, like that, there is like a deeper reason why I don't like to do this. There's usually like different servers, you have to create different accounts, there's lag. I don't want to go through the hustle. Sure, I'll play like Dungeons and Dragons or something like a pen and paper game, but I don't want to play like a fighting game or something like that with people from outside of Europe for the reasons that I have mentioned. Um, but that's my choice, right? And that should be my freedom. But apparently, like someone can say that, well, that's not very inclusive. It's not inclusive of me. I need to play with everyone. Like, what the fuck? It's like your mom coming into the room and saying, no, you need to play with all the kids. But I want to play with my friend. No, you need to go there and play with all the kids. Why? Why must I play with all the kids? You know? But, okay, right. So, apparently there was a conversation with the guy and the Blizzard employee, and the guy says, hello there, my account was silenced due to inappropriate name. My name is definitely not inappropriate, so I can only conclude that my account has been hacked. Can you help at all? The Blizzard employee, which his name was censored because, as we're going to see, he was a little bit naughty, so I do appreciate that they decided to hide the name of the person involved. Any support would be most appreciated. Checking that now, 1 second. Thanks a lot, man. This really came out of the blue. I was endorsement in Overwatch, endorsement 4 in Overwatch, and then suddenly my endorsement is gone and I can't make groups. Okay, so it seems that this was for the name of the game that you have created. What was the name? Warm up for comp, have good comms, English microphone, no girls, no squeakers. And it's like, well, it's not offending. And here's the thing that I don't understand. Like, if this guy doesn't want to play with girls, for whatever reason, like, it's up to him why he doesn't want to play with them. Why would you want to force him to play with girls? Like, he's going to be toxic? Do you understand this? Like, if he doesn't want to be that, he doesn't want to engage with these people, do you think it's going to be a positive engagement? It's just like, I don't get it. I really don't get it. It's like a guy who hates Romanians, and you would force him to interact with me? Like, why would you do that? Do you not think about my considerations? Like, why would you put me through it? If he doesn't want to engage with Romanians, he hates Romanians, and he chooses to segregate himself from Romanians, why would you force me into the same room with him? What kind of a sick person would you be? Anyway, apparently the guy points out, how is this against terms of service? And it's like, the Blizzard employee is like, oh, you know, it excludes some people. Alright, so apparently it excludes people that don't have good communications, like don't have good microphone. It excludes squeakers. I can't play with this guy, by the way. Look at it. Look at the I cannot play. Listen to my voice. It's so high. I cannot play. I'm a squeaker. I squeak. And apparently women cannot play either. So it's like, well, it's a borderline thing. And this is like the hypocrisy, right? Because he points out there are Russian-only groups, German-only groups, French-only groups, and girl-only groups. And, you know, like, there are women-only businesses out there. Like, there are gyms specifically for women. There are nightclubs that will not allow most guys. Like, the bouncer looks at your face, doesn't like you, tells you to fuck right off. And then you got, like, actual women coming in. It's like, right this way, man. I don't mind. It's their business. Let them do whatever they want. It's not something that's necessary for livelihood. Yeah, like if utilities would do it, like if the electric company would be like, oh, we don't provide electricity for households owned by women. Yeah, of course there would be outrage. But like, you know, like the ability for people to associate, it's a human right. This is, yeah, it is a human right violation. But they don't care, right? And again, like if you look on different forums regarding this incident, a lot of people are upset that the Blizzard employee decided to restore this guy's account. Because as you can see, they actually did and said, try not to make names like those. I'll be sure to avoid it. I understand if this is just me not understanding the rules, and I apologize. Just thought if other groups can do this, so can I. And it's sometimes hard to get it from right. So as you can see, like the guy learned the lesson. This is something that social justice never do. They never have mercy. Like the opinion of redemption, no, that doesn't exist. Like the guy didn't know that he can't make these groups, and he was like, okay, you know, like that's fine. I won't make it in the future. And like, okay, you got your account restored. And there's people foaming. They're like, how dare you? Why do you do this? You're promoting hate. Yeah, apparently he got his endorsements back and whatever. So I just wanted to point this out, right? Like I genuinely don't think that people who are into intersectional feminism, I believe it's called, because not just feminism. Like feminism has different branches. Some of them I agree with, Intersectional feminism is the one that is the more problematic, I would say. They constantly break human rights with their ideology, like free speech, bleh. Freedom of expression, bleh. Freedom of association, bleh. But when they want to make a case, like for example, why France is evil for banning the burqa, then they go back on human rights. They appeal to the centrist morality. They appeal to the morality of the majority of people in order to push their morality that's only believed by a handful of people. If you look at it, like this is why they constantly have to enforce their ideology through banning, deplatforming, demonetizing, censorship. This is why they have to do it, because most people don't agree with them. So they hope that maybe through fear, maybe people would be afraid to contradict them because they would get the platform censored, demonetized, then people won't speak out. And that's how they want to push their ideas. Anyway, just thought I would cover a little bit from the gaming news. Let me know what you think, and looking forward to see you guys tomorrow.